Hello everyone! As you might have already guessed it, this is a headstand tutorial. And in this little tutorial I will go through all the steps you may want to consider in order to get a nice headstand. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching! Before we start with the tutorial, here is a little disclaimer. Of course, we have to be very careful with our neck, so it is really up to you what you're going to do with this information. I am describing the path that I followed in order to learn the headstand, and whatever you do with that information is up to your own discernment. Having said that, of course, if there is any time in your headstand journey that you feel pain in your neck, you should really stop and take a step back and wait until you're ready to do a headstand. In this tutorial, I will go through the steps that may help you to develop strong muscles in your neck and shoulders to really support your body. And don't rush any of these steps, really keep your own pace and make sure that you're not feeling any pain in your neck in particular. In this tutorial I will use the tripod headstand. To the yogis amongst you, you might be used to the triangle shaped headstand. I will show some progressions where you can use either of these headstand positions. However, there's one progression which you can only do in the tripod position, which is why I prefer it when I teach headstands. Let's start with the basics, where to place your head on the ground. When you put your palm on your forehead, where your fingers touch your head, this is the crown of your head and this is the place basically where you want to put your head on the ground. Particularly in the beginning, you might be sensitive to the hard ground. If this is the case, you can take, for example, a little towel, fold it and build a cushion for your head. It will be much easier for you to perform a headstand when the ground is softer in the beginning. For the tripod, your hands want to be shoulder width apart. You can measure that by placing your arms on the ground and you hold your elbows. At the spot where your elbows touch the ground, you want to place your palms. The distance between your palms and your head should be as much that you get a 90-degree angle between your upper arm and your lower arm. Here's the little disadvantage of the tripod, at least initially. Our elbows tend to flare outside, but we want to keep our elbows in line. That means the elbows want to stay shoulder width apart. We need to develop quite some muscle strength in order to keep that alignment. Really take your time to develop the necessary strength. If you cannot keep your elbows aligned, you will not have the necessary stability to have a nice headstand. So let's get to the more juicy part. The next thing you want to work on is getting your hips above your shoulders. And it helps if you have a very nice forward fold. If you can get closer with your legs to your upper body, it will be easier to align your hips above your shoulders. I will link my forward fold tutorial so you can work on that if you need to. To get your hips above your shoulders, you have to walk your feet in as close as possible. If you have reached your maximum, you can also start with flexing and pointing your feet. And that way you're learning more about this shift of your pelvis back and forth. Of course, you also want to stay at your maximum for a couple of breaths. For the next step, I'm repeating. You do not want to have any neck pain. In order to get a stronger neck, you can, if you want to, get into a pike position and then remove your hands from the ground. As I said, really be careful with your neck. If it feels uncomfortable, don't do this exercise. This is an exercise which helped me to develop a strong neck, so it might help you too. Now we're coming to a progression which I think shows the advantage of the tripod position. So the next step is placing your knee on your upper arm. You start with one knee at a time. So you put your knee on your upper arm, put it down again, and then you shift to the other side. We're working here on our strength and on our stability, so you can really also stay in this position for quite some breaths before you change to the other leg. Once that works well, you can then place both knees on your upper arms. In the beginning it will be first one knee, then the next. But after some time, you might be able to put both knees on your upper arms at the same time. We're here again working on our strength and stability, so it does pay off if you stay in this tucked position for quite some breaths. If you can comfortably rest your knees on your upper arms, you can start lifting one leg at a time. So you lift one leg up and put it down on your upper arm, and then you change to the other side. This will help you then for the next progression. I have a very static approach to getting your legs up. However, often you see people jumping into their headstand. If you want to do that, of course you can do whatever you want, it's a free planet. But I find it better to develop the strength to get up in a controlled manner. With big steps we are moving towards lifting both our legs up. But what we now have to deal with is our fear of falling. Yes, I'm telling you, you can move to the wall, because I find it stupid if you're not progressing with your headstand just because of the fear of falling. However, you should get comfortable with falling. If you fall in a proper way, there's nothing too bad about it. From my experience, your body does know how to behave when you're falling. But of course, you have to make sure you have enough room when you fall. So when we start lifting our legs from the ground, you can really, if you want to, move to a wall. Make sure that you're close enough to the wall so that your body is learning the proper alignment. As long as your body has not learned the proper alignment, if you're too far away from the wall, you will get into a banana shape, which will not really help you with learning how to align your body properly. So really, in the beginning, move very close to the wall. When you feel like you have figured out the alignment, you can move farther away from the wall in order to get this more free experience of the headstand. And it's totally fine if you're in the beginning, keep on using the wall to find your balance. Even if I'm showing the upcoming progressions without a wall, you can totally do them next to a wall. Whenever you feel comfortable with your knees on your upper arms, we start lifting one leg at a time, as I said before. I find lifting one leg at a time even a bit more difficult and wobbly than lifting both legs at the same time, which is what we are going to do next. The The next progression would be lifting up in a tuck. So you bring both knees on your upper arms and then you start lifting your knees at the same time. In order to build up the strength, you can also start at just lifting them a little bit before you're really extending your legs and bringing them up. To build up strength, getting down is at least as important as getting up. So when you get down, try to slowly lower your legs. After some time, you can also get into a tuck without bringing your knees first on your upper arms. To do so, you want to stack your hips above your shoulders or even further back, and then you can lift your feet from the ground. Draw your belly inwards and engage your core muscles in order to get and stay in this tucked position. Straightening both of your legs is a bit of a balancing act, as your pelvis shifts to the front when you do so. With some practice, your body will learn how to deal with this weight shift. So all you have to do is keep on practicing. Finally, we can get up from a piked position. We need quite a lot of strength to do that, but also the right technique is important. Once more, the closer you get with your feet to your head, meaning the more aligned your hips are with your shoulders, the easier it will be to lift up your legs. In fact, your hips even want to move past your head. And this is the reason if you're practicing this with the wall, you have to get farther away from the wall. Otherwise, your pelvis will not have enough space to get in the right position. You may now say that there is no way you can lift up your legs like this. Don't worry, if I learned it, you can learn it too. Negatives are a really nice way to build up the strength and control you need to in order to lift your legs up. First, you just get up in your headstand and then you lower your legs as low as you can. It really pays off to stay at that maximum point as long as you can, and then you try to lift up your legs again. Eventually your maximum point will be closer and closer to the ground. Moving your legs up and down in the piked position with a lot of control will not only help you with your headstand, but also with other exercises such as press handstands. So I find this to be an investment that quite pays off. And I guess this is enough incentive for you to keep on practicing. I hope you found this little tutorial useful and that it will help you on your headstand journey. If so, then I would be glad if you could give this video a little thumbs up, or if you follow this channel so that you don't miss out on any other content that I will provide. If you have any questions about this tutorial, you can post it in the comment box below. Thank you for watching and Servus!